What's up, everybody? It's Thomas
and Amber,
and today we've got our own rendition of keto coffee, simply because everyone's been asking what the best way to start your day is, and I was getting a little tired of seeing bulletproof coffee everywhere. It's just so overdone.
It's so last year. So let's break down the ingredients of what we actually have in this coffee.
Totally. So first off, we've got MCT oil.
And we've switched that up for coconut oil, so more on that later.
Then we've got raw cacao.
Exactly.
Then we've got ghee butter.
Uh-huh.
Then we've got a couple bonus ingredients of stevia and Himalayan salt, and we'll get to that at the end of the video.
And of course, the star of the show, coffee.
Well, let's break it down. So what we're going to start with is literally just a tablespoon of MCT oil.
And we're going to put that in our handy-dandy blender. And so what's the difference between regular coconut oil and MCT oil?
It comes down to the actual medium chain triglycerides. So coconut oil, a lot of people think is a straight MCT, but in reality, coconut oil is predominantly lauric acid, which really isn't an MCT. MCTs are medium chain triglycerides, which have the ability to pass through the blood-brain barrier and actually give our brain energy.
I see.
Whereas coconut oil only has about 20% MCTs. So in order to get more bang for the buck in terms of brain fuel, you want to use medium chain triglycerides.
So that's why I feel so much better when I take MCT oil.
Totally. It
Makes sense.
crosses through what's called the double membrane of the mitochondria. So it gives our mitochondria, which is the cell powerhouse, a lot more energy that's able to be used right out the gate.
All right, and those kind of fuel every tissue in your body, right?
Pretty much.
Okay,
Yep.
got it.
Oh, and there's one other bonus to the MCTs. So as a byproduct of the metabolism of the MCTs, it converts into extra what's known as acetyl coenzyme A, which converts into more ketones later on. So you actually get like a byproduct benefit of more ketone production, meaning you're going to get more energy above and beyond just what you get from this.
That's awesome.
Totally.
All right.
Next one is your powerhouse, the one that you know about.
Next one is ghee. And to properly explain ghee, which is this lovely stuff right here.
What have we got, about a tablespoon there? Half tablespoon?
I think about a half tablespoon. Okay. So to properly explain ghee, what we have to do is we have to look at its cousins, clarified butter and regular butter. So the difference between regular butter and clarified butter and ghee is that regular butter is about 80% butter fat, 16 to 18% water, but it still has about 2% milk fat in it.
Ah.
So we want to get that out of there. So essentially what we do is we boil down that regular butter and take out those milk solids, take out that water, and then you're left with clarified butter. Now, if you take that one step further, you actually caramelize what's left over of those milk solids, and it gives it a really nice, rich, nutty flavor, and that makes ghee. Nice.
And then I do know from the health side of things, when it comes to ghee, first of all, there's no dairy in it, so you're not getting the milk solids.
Or very little.
So if you almost got 99.6% without the milk solids. So I mean, if you're super sensitive to dairy, it's something that's good to have. Plus, you don't have the milk solids getting in the way of digestion.
Right.
In fact, there was actually one study that was done by a publication called Lipids in Health and Disease, and what they found was that those that consumed ghee butter for 35 days ended up having a pretty massive reduction in overall cholesterol. It was like a 22 or 25% reduction in total cholesterol and an 18% increase in their HDL cholesterol, indicating its ability to remove the bad fats from the bloodstream.
Now, and that's opposed to regular butter.
Totally.
That's awesome. The other thing about ghee is if you use it in cooking, or clarified butter, if you use it in cooking, it has a much higher smoke point. So regular butter has a smoke point of about 350. So I don't know if you've ever cooked with butter and your house turns to like pure smoke. If you cook with ghee or clarified butter, that won't happen. The smoke point is much higher, one of the highest actually, at 450 degrees.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so now we move into cacao. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show Portlandia, but we're not going to go into exquisite detail. But
if you haven't seen it, watch it.
Then you know exactly what we're talking about with the episode where they're talking about cacao, because you guys know what we're talking about.
I think about it every time I hear that word, actually.
So do you know what the difference between cacao and cocoa is?
I do. Do you?
Yes, of course.
Okay,
That's
who
why
wants
I
to
asked
explain it?
I'll explain. So the difference between cacao and cocoa is simply that cocoa is the manufactured, processed version of cacao. So cacao is a much more unadulterated form.
Exactly.
So having a lot more mineral profile, a lot more nutrients, and of course our friend phenylethylamine.
What?
Phenylethylamine.
Okay.
Phenylethylamine is something that is actually a powerful aphrodisiac.
Nice.
So,
that's why you give chocolates on Valentine's Day.
That's exactly why.
Or you get broccoli, but you know.
It gives you that good euphoric feeling. So we're talking about an ultimate like brain booster here. Okay, we've got the MCTs, we've got the cacao, we've got the ghee. We're getting some serious benefits. We've also got the benefits of theobromine, which gives you sort of a feeling like caffeine, but a little bit cleaner coming out of the straight cacao there.
Exactly. The other great thing about cacao is that it has about 20 times the antioxidants of blueberries. So blueberries are like what most famous for their antioxidant levels, right?
Totally. And
So it's not just cocoa's fancier, more expensive cousin. It actually does hold some weight in the world of nutrition.
That's cool, because I get comments all the time on YouTube that are talking about ketosis. They're worried about not getting the antioxidant profile that they need. And I was always explaining, like, it's got 4 times the amount of dark chocolate, but I didn't know that about the blueberries. So you don't always need the vegetables or the fruits that you need in ketosis. You can get them from various foods and various grounds and various spices and stuff like that.
Exactly. And of course, we have coffee, the star of the show.
Now, the whole idea behind the coffee, it's the catalyst between everything that's going to work here. So coffee, we're going to put into the little magic bullet thingy here. And the coffee is going to help mobilize the fats out of the cell into the bloodstream so that these can do their job. So think of it as sort of the glue that's holding everything together. We have all these components that are going to help our body utilize fat for fuel. This is going to help our body get the fat out of the cell and into the bloodstream so that we can burn that too.
Plus, coffee is the glue that holds my life together, so.
Yeah, and if you are someone that has a little bit of a sweet tooth and doesn't want to just have plain old coffee tasting stuff, just go ahead and add a couple of drops of stevia. You don't need to measure that out, just kind of eyeball it, give it a little bit of flavor.
You want, preferable.
And then why don't you explain what we've got here last, and I'll explain the science.
And then we have good old-fashioned pink Himalayan salt, and in case you don't know what pink Himalayan salt is, it has 84 minerals. Definitely a little bit different from iodized salt.
Yeah, exactly. The whole idea behind putting Himalayan pink salt in our keto coffee is because when you're in ketosis, you are totally depleted of minerals because you're not retaining as much water naturally. You have to remember, carbohydrates, when we have them, they allow us to hold water, in about 3.7 grams of water per gram of carbs. No carbs equals very little water being retained, which means we're excreting minerals. So it's okay to add some salt to your coffee. Don't let people tell you that you're weird. It's okay to be weird.
So weird.
So just do a couple grinds of that. Do you want to do the honors?
Sure.
Here she goes.
Ready?
Yep.
Hang on. Let's shake that up a minute.
Skills.
Is that enough?
Yep. That looks
So
perfect.
if you'll notice, look at that color.
It's like a mocha. It's more of a
you open
keto
it.
mocha.
And I like to do this just as a heads up. I like to do this when the coffee is a little bit lukewarm, not hot, because what that does is it expands the pressure in your blender, and we don't want it to pop the lid off. Just a word of advice there.
That is bomb. That is so good.
Thank you.
Seriously, try it. So there you have it. That is how you make true keto coffee. Okay? Bulletproof's fine, but let's take it one step further and implement some science into the picture.
This is the new trend.
Any recipes that you want to see or anything that you want to see in the future, make sure you comment and let us know. And if you want us to do more family recipes and things like that, make sure you let us know as well. Keep it locked in here on our channel, and I will see you in the next video.
See ya.